Tonight in our original series, Project Home, we take a look at the state of real estate since the shelter in place took effect. Susan Steinmel spoke with analysts who say we are just now starting to see the impacts, and last month's numbers prove the housing market is not immune to the coronavirus.
It's the spring selling season, which usually means home sales spike, and excited prospective buyers spend their weekends jumping from open house to open house. But since the pandemic hit, things have gone quiet.
Who wants to move now? Nobody.
Patrick Carlisle is Compass Real Estate's chief market analyst. He's been watching as sales and new home listings have come to what he describes as a screeching halt.
The number of properties that were pulled off the market jumped by 800%. In 1 week. The number of properties going into contract dropped like 75%. So these are very drastic effects.
For weeks now, real estate agents have been optimistic that the product that is California real estate would remain unflappable.
Are you worried about long-term impacts to the housing market in California?
I'm really not. We remain optimistic. We've been there before.
To an extent, they're right to have continued confidence. Home prices have not gone down. Neither have rents. But Carlisle points out the housing market is usually about 3 to 6 weeks behind the stock market, so the impacts are just starting to show.
It seems pretty clear that our upcycle has come to an end.
Realtor.com reports there are nearly half as many listings on the market now as there were at this time last year. In the Bay Area, there were roughly 9,500 active listings in early March. Since shelter in place took effect, that number dropped below 8,000, and the number of new listings went from around 1,800 to less than 800. Carlisle's research shows a typical spring season like 2019, where real estate comes out of its winter slump. But this March, he says most people are either afraid to list or don't have the money to buy.
People have to have jobs to be able to afford to buy homes or to rent homes.
Listed homes are still selling, which is good news for people like Jeanne Morrison.
I thought the whole year was going to be totally different, and surprise, it wasn't.
In February, her husband Dennis died of health complications unrelated to COVID-19, so she made the decision to downsize. She's moving closer to her son Jay, who helped her sell their family home of 18 years. They had one open house, then were forced to take the sale and tours online.
A month or 2 months ago, I think our posture would have been a little bit different. I think we would have been a little bit more aggressive. But in these current times, there's a little bit more at stake.
In some cases, buyers are able to tour homes in person, but only if that home is vacant like this one. If somebody's living there, you will not be allowed to do a walkthrough. And these in-person tours are really only meant to be for cases where virtual tours are not an option.
It's been a little crazy, but I think that when someone needs to buy a home, they need to buy a home, regardless of what's going on.
As for how long the virus will take its toll on the housing market, that, like everything else, depends on how long shelter in place lasts.
There's so many plates spinning that I don't think anyone can predict how it's going to shake out yet.
Jeannie's story is a reminder that despite the virus, life goes on. She's moving forward with newfound empathy.
It was hard to go through all of that. It was really hard, but there's so many people right now going through this thing, the exact same thing right now. Many. I mean, it's just like I don't feel like I'm alone.
All right, so a lot of people have pulled their listings and consumer confidence is down, but home prices are not. Right now, the industry, like so many other things, is just on pause. And the expectation is that this industry will rebound. It's just a matter of how long shelter in place lasts. Liz?
Yeah, it's sort of a waiting game right now, Susie. Now, compared to New York or other parts of the country, California so far has done a better job flattening that curve. Has that had an impact on the housing market here in the state?
It has. In New York and other places where the virus is more widespread, they've seen a much more dramatic impact to home sales. They've also seen some softening of rents. That's something that we haven't seen here. But again, the message is that they do think that every market will be able to rebound. It's just that if this carries on longer, then the impact will be greater.
Sure, it'll take longer to come back. All right, Susie, thank you. We'll keep sending your stories and ideas to projecthome@cbs.com and see all of Susie's reporting on our website.